you know, I saw some people putting up Christmas trees on the 1st of November, and I had so many questions. But as for now, tukiona Christmas trees and balloons and all those celebrations, we are almost okay with it. And this morning, a bit early in the morning, I was speaking to someone and he said, the year is almost over for real. So whatever it is that you wanted to do this year, please make sure that you keep doing it. On Sunday, we say that we still have time. And whatever it is that you're trusting God for, there's enough time for Him to do exactly what you want Him to do, as long as it's in accordance with the Word of God. Okay, so thank you so much for being with us today. Today we are talking about diabetes, and that is because on Friday was World Diabetes Day. We'll be getting to know what exactly that is and why we have one day that is specifically dedicated to diabetes and what happens on that particular day. But we'll be talking about hypertension as well, because it's very much connected to diabetes. So if you have any question that you'd love to ask, please feel free to ask, and we'll be happy to hear from you. And for that, our numbers are very open. That is 0721 107 107 on or rather 105 105 on WhatsApp, 23814, our SMS code, which is absolutely free. We're live on Facebook on MBCI TV Facebook page. We're live on YouTube on MBCI TV official YouTube page. And today on set, we are here with Dr. Beatrice Omari. She's been here a couple of times. I think last year was the time we were here with her, and always we do have an amazing conversation, very enlightening conversations when you have her on set. And I'd just like for you to know who exactly she is and what she does. And for that, we've prepared something that we call the guest profile for you.
Today on Afya Clinic, we are honored to host a seasoned specialist in one of the most important areas of adult health. Joining us is Dr. Beatrice Omari, an internal medicine specialist with advanced training from the University of Nairobi, where she earned both her MBci and her Masters of Medicine in Internal Medicine. Dr. Omari has over 10 years of dedicated clinical experience with a strong focus on diabetes care, hypertension management, and overall adult wellness.
The theme for 2025 is diabetes and well-being. So we are encouraged to know more and to do more for our patients with diabetes, both at home and in the workplace.
She is actively involved in continuing medical education and has contributed to training healthcare professionals on the management of diabetes here in Kenya. She currently practices in Nakuru, where she continues to serve patients with compassion, expertise, and deep commitment to preventive care. So help me welcome to the show Dr. Beatrice Omari. Karibu sana to Afya Clinic, where your health matters to us.
Perfect. So karibu sana.
Thank you.
We're so happy to have you here today.
I'm happy to be here also.
Amazing. How have you been?
I've been good. The year, as you said, at least, even if most of it looks like it's gone, we still have 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So we can still make a difference.
Yeah. And that's something. Having a conversation, we've talked about the thing of time really running this year. And we said it's very important for us to know that hata kama imebaki 1 week, still we can make a difference with that 1 week. Just making sure that we make every day count. That is what is important.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because some people feel like, you know, maybe I've not achieved what I wanted to. You look at your list and you're thinking, but there's still time. And whatever you do, even if it looks like it's small, it still counts and it's significant.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect. So it's so good to have you here today.
Thank you.
There's a question I like to ask doctors before we start off, and even before you officially introduce yourself. What's the most memorable time you'd say in your experience as a doctor?
Wow, what's the most memorable? I can't say it's one. I think for me it's the feeling that you get when you see patients getting better. Yeah, I think sometimes that's what keeps us going. Because unfortunately not all our patients get better, and we're humans, so we also feel it. You know, people sometimes think, you know, that we are there's no emotional side, and we're just, you know, we see death, suffering, pain all the time, so it looks like it's normal. Yeah, so I think that feeling that, you know, you can actually see somebody getting better, yeah, that keeps us going. Because sometimes things don't turn out the way even we would want. Yeah.
Sadly. Okay. Do you have a highlight?
Well, probably just to say, I hope for this year and maybe going forward that, you know, we as individuals would take the responsibility of taking care of ourselves better.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
That's what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
You know, we carry on and we take even from this and we carry that message as we go.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So there are people who are seeing you today for the very first time. I know it's the first time that you're having you on set, but there are people who are seeing you today for the very first time. So please, because of that, introduce yourself.
Okay.
For them to just know what you do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my name is Beatrice Omari. I'm a physician. I'm also a diabetologist. I'm trained in management of diabetes.
Okay.
I am a mom. I farm. Those are some of the few things that I do, because I think sometimes we are only identified by our profession.
Yeah.
You know that you're a doctor and you're nothing else. But I also have a family.
Yeah.
I love farming. Yes, I love having conversations about things that can, you know, that can help.
Yeah.
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 It's beautiful that you love farming, because doc, upon it,
It's true, it's not easy.
It's not
but
easy, yeah.
I think I would complain a lot about quality of food. Then I said, you know what, I can't keep complaining, so let me also make a bit of impact and make sure, you know, that we produce things that are safe. So if whatever I produce, I eat, so I, you know, it should, whatever, you know, the people who produce things that they don't eat, but they produce for other people. Okay. So we need to be conscious of not only for ourselves but also for others.
Yeah. Okay. And I understand nutrition is fully intertwined with our health. So you're speaking about food quality and you're a doctor. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Super amazing.
There's a lot that I think maybe we get the wrong information about, you know, what is proper nutrition. So we're hoping that it becomes a daily conversation, even in our households, for our children.
I love that. Now, you've trained specifically on diabetes. Why diabetes?
Actually, it's something I started when I was doing my master's. So my professor was doing something, and you know, we were just bouncing off, and he was saying, how am I going to measure how people take care of themselves? How is that measurable? So we started a conversation. He's a professor. His main interest is in diabetes. So we were just discussing how can we measure these things that people do for themselves. And then my thesis became, you know, about, you know, looking at the various ways that patients with diabetes take care of themselves, plus the knowledge. I think the interest started there because obviously at that time we did not have ChatGPT. So there was a lot of reading, you know, you would read papers and do research and find out, you know, what are these things that people with diabetes need to do every day as they take care of themselves? What kind of information are they supposed to have? Then, so once I was done with that, I think, you know, coming now from Nairobi, coming into Nakuru, spending a lot of time managing patients with diabetes. So I felt that, you know, that's one area we can make a big impact. And then I went and, you know, I did further training on that.
Okay. Maybe just for a start, even as we talk about the World Diabetes Day and why it's important for us to have that day, on a scale of 1 to 10, how easy is it to manage a lifestyle for someone who has diabetes?
Lifestyle is not easy, and we really need to encourage and support because a lot of times it involves behavior change, and behavior change is not very easy. Even when you look at, for example, when we're trying to manage people who have an alcohol use disorder, you know, they know that, you know, they're overusing the alcohol, it's causing them harm, it's making them sick. You know, sometimes they get admitted, but you still find them going back. Okay? So things that involve behavior change are not very easy. And it is not just an issue of, this is the right thing to do, so go ahead and do it. The person probably knows the right thing to do. But again, it's not a very rational, it's not just about reasoning it out. So it's that encouragement. The person first has to be convinced in their mind. So there's a lot of, conversation, and then the person rationalizes it in their mind that, okay, so this is what I am supposed to do. They bargain with themselves because there's probably a reason why they do things different. Then, they have to see that there's a benefit probably. Then now initiate one action. And actually most people, the challenge is not even about initiating the change in action. The issue is sustaining. The sustaining, the momentum over time reduces. Then again you start the cycle all over again. Then they stop. Then again you're back to, you used to exercise. And exercise is to help to manage your weight, to manage your blood sugar. Then what happened? Then over time, after a few months I stopped. Then you're back to again. Exercise has benefits, you feel better, you sleep better, it helps with your memory. So the person again is made aware of that. Then they have to rationalize. I don't have the time. I don't feel so good. Then they start again. Then so it's a continuous process.
Could it be because once you start feeling better, you feel like unajua sasa mimi niko sawa. We're talking about antimicrobial resistance next week. And one of the reasons, because I found myself there, one of the reasons we stopped taking medicine is once niko sawa, I do not feel the need of taking antibiotics again because they have side effects. I don't want to feel my mouth tasting medicine all the time. So could it be that the diabetes patients at some point they feel like, no, I'm good, I'm living well, why do I have to keep exercising on a daily? Could that be the main reason?
So there's that. Obviously our perception of disease is that I must feel unwell for me to know that I am actually sick. So when I don't feel sick or I feel relatively okay, that should also translate to I am well. And you see, those are not two necessarily, they're not the same. Feeling well does not mean there is no disease. And then again, there is the perception that, if I am taking medicine all the time, then that must mean then I'm very sick. So when I'm not taking medicine, then that also is another perception of maybe I'm getting better. Okay, so there is that. So sometimes patients have this issue of, can I take medicine just for 3 months? Then when I feel better, then I don't need to continue, because continuing medicine gives you that negative thought of I am still sick. So those are some of the battles that and as I said, this is not an issue of how learned or how educated you are. So it's a whole lot of the psychology and how somebody perceives the whole problem. Because we get patients who are not learned, but they're very good at maintaining those behavior changes and maintaining their medication. Then we get very learned people, but their commitment to doing these things that can help them get better is low.
Okay, I hear you. Now on the 14th, that was on Friday, was the World Diabetes Day. What is that about, and why do we even need a whole day dedicated to just speaking about diabetes?
The global burden of diabetes is very big. Unfortunately, it's very big. And we in Africa have the highest burden of undiagnosed disease. Undiagnosed means that there are so many people out there who are walking around and they have no idea that they have diabetes because they're probably just feeling normal or okay. And diabetes, especially type 2 diabetes, we say is a progressive condition. So, it just doesn't start overnight. Most people, by the time they're coming with the symptoms that, that we speak a lot about, like passing lots of urine, feeling very thirsty, weight loss, not seeing well, some of them have had the condition for more than 5 years. 5 years is a long time. And it's just that their blood sugar has been rising gradually over time. So, you know, the number of patients, especially worldwide, are projected to increase significantly over the next, we're in 2025, over the next 20 years. And because of that, you know, there's a lot of emphasis, especially in our part of the world, like, let's get people aware. Let's reduce the stigma, because people are still very stigmatized about diabetes, just the same way it is with HIV. So our current prevalence in the country was projected to be around 4 to 5%, but those are the ones who are known. Very many people, about half, are unknown.
Okay, and still 45% is still a huge number.
It is.
Imagine.
It is. It is a huge number, and we feel that it is because, you know, these are not like proper studies done in the community. We might not have probably the capacity to do, but the numbers are much, much higher. And now people who are even younger, unlike probably at our parents' time when people would be diagnosed probably in their 50s or their 60s, we're diagnosing people in their 30s. You know?
Okay. And today, as you're talking about diabetes, you're talking about hypertension as well. And someone could be wondering, how is diabetes and hypertension related?
So both of them are what we call non-communicable diseases. So we classify non-communicable to be diseases that are not infectious. So yes, both of them have a link with the lifestyle. Both of them have a link with age. So the processes in the body that sometimes lead to the development of high blood pressure, which is what we call systemic hypertension, are sometimes the same type of processes we see that end up leading to a patient having diabetes. Because when we look at the factors that increase the risk of diabetes, which is age, which is obesity, which is, you know, a lifestyle which we call sedentary. That means you're not doing a lot of physical activity. You find the same factors also cause an increase in the occurrence of blood pressure, which is again still an increase in age, the fact that we are not very physically active. The same factors like taking alcohol, which will still increase a person's risk of developing high blood pressure, will still increase the risk of that person getting diabetes, because their pancreas is destroyed by the alcohol. Then the person develops diabetes. So the same things are, you know, are drivers, so to speak.
So would one be a victim of high blood pressure and diabetes at the same time?
That's quite common. It's quite common that we find patients who have, you know, you're diagnosing them with a high blood pressure, and as you evaluate them and you're doing tests, you also find this same person has diabetes.
Now, while you were speaking about diabetes, you mentioned about diabetes type 1 and type 2. Take us through it.
So type 1 is a unique type of diabetes. It's not that common, but it is present. It is a type of diabetes where the person does not produce insulin. So insulin is a very important hormone in our bodies. It's a protein type of hormone, and this particular hormone is what helps us utilize what we eat. When our food gets digested, we produce, you know, glucose as a form of carbohydrate. If we have eaten something that has carbohydrate, we produce some protein amino acids, and then there's some minerals inside there and some vitamins that also get absorbed. So these carbohydrates, and fats. So these carbohydrates are the ones that are used for energy production. And for that energy to happen, the glucose needs to get into the body cells. And remember, for your brain to think, for your muscles to move, for all the things that we do, breathing, talking, all of that requires energy. So for the glucose to be used and make energy, it has to enter the cell. And the key to entering the cell is the insulin. So people who have type 1 diabetes they don't make insulin. So for one reason or another, their pancreas got destroyed, and they require the insulin. So a lot of times I get asked, why can't a person, you know, take insulin as a tablet? You can't take something that's going to be digested in your stomach as a tablet because it's a protein. So the only ways, you know, that, you know, we so far have been able to come up with is to inject the protein into the body, and then, you know, it goes and does what it's supposed to do. So currently that's the only way to get insulin into the body? So currently that's the most efficient way. Other ways were tried, like trying to inhale it, you know, so it was made into an inhaler, then gets into the lungs, but that's not a very efficient way. So the most efficient way so far is via injection. So that was type 1.
Maybe before we go to type 2, is there a way one would be able to avoid, that's the right word, type 1 diabetes? Is there a way you'd say these are the risk factors for losing insulin in your body, so this is what you're not supposed to do?
So for type 1, it's a bit more complicated. So part of that, pancreas, you know, not working or getting those cells that produce for you insulin destroyed, is an immune process, and sometimes some viruses are involved. In the West, they actually screen patients for, you know, who have type 1 diabetes, and they check for particular what do we call them, chemicals in the body that are probably being produced to attack that pancreas. And they are able to project, you know, like if it is in a family line, who is at risk of developing type 1 diabetes. And they're actually developing medicines that can help to, you know, reduce the progression of that process of destroying the cells that make for you insulin. But you can see they have already managed people with type 1 diabetes very well. So they're talking about prevention. So we are at the point where we are still struggling to manage our patients with type 1 very well. So it might not make sense to try and start fishing for who is at risk, and the one who is already sick, you know, you're not doing a very good job at managing. But we see, especially for the people who have type 1, majority of them are young individuals. That, you know, if they get enough insulin, their bodies should work as normal, and they should live a normal life. So they shouldn't be very scared about, you know, there's a lot of fear about insulin, that, you know, it's a bad medicine. No, insulin is a good medicine. It's a very good medicine. So if they get enough to, you know, to meet their daily requirements, they should live normal lives.
Perfect. Now for type 2 diabetes.
So type 2 is like a whole different, I don't want to say disease, because both of them have high sugar. But you see for type 1, as I've said, because it's purely, most of the time their pancreas that has an issue, they get enough insulin, their bodies work like any other individual. Type 2, there's a whole abnormal way in which the body utilizes, or, you know, utilizes carbohydrates, proteins, fats. So one of the biggest drivers for that is the person is not producing enough insulin, for the body's uses. So there is that, like, we are not matching. I need this much insulin, you're giving, I need, for example, 100 units, you only give, the body's only giving me 50. And then now the question comes, how did I get to 50? And yet, probably before I was at 100. So here, in type 2, what we see a lot is, one, that loss of how the pancreas is not giving you enough insulin can be genetic. The genetic factors that may contribute, that's one. Obviously, as we age, we are not going to produce as much insulin as when we were younger. So you will find a bit of a mismatch. But then again, there is this issue that we call like insulin resistance. So that means you may produce insulin that looks like is enough, but is not working as well. It's not doing the job at 100%.
Yeah. And why is that?
And that's partly because of the changes that are happening in the organs where the insulin is supposed to be working at. And one of them is the liver, then another one is the muscles. And then sometimes, especially when there is obesity, the fat around the abdomen also produces chemicals that sort of reduce the efficiency or the effectiveness of that insulin. That is why a lot of times obesity is also increasing the risk of developing type 2 diabetes. So insulin resistance is a big driver. So you reach a point whereby your body feels like, I'm producing 100, but 100 is not effective. I need more. Yeah. So sometimes initially they have a phase of more. But the more again makes, you overwork your pancreas. So over time, definitely, and this is a daily thing. Over time now, you find it's not doing a very good job. And progressively, it keeps reducing the amount of insulin it's producing as now the person now starts having symptoms.
Okay. Now, the symptoms of type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes, are they the same? Or how are you able to know this is type 1 and this is type 2?
So most patients, by the time they're coming to the hospital, they generally are coming with what we call osmotic symptoms. So osmotic symptoms generally mean that the person is now having so much blood glucose in their blood, such a high blood glucose that the first thing that starts off that process of feeling sick is now you start passing the glucose in the urine. The kidney also has a level which if the glucose goes above, you start passing the glucose in the urine. And the glucose usually comes out with water. So now you start passing lots of urine. Of course, if that happens, you're going to get dehydrated. So you're going to drink more water. So the process usually starts by lots and lots of passing urine, then lots and lots of drinking water. So patients who have type 1 and type 2 sometimes come with those symptoms. In type 1, they are very acute. Like this person, was well last week. This week, now they're very sick. But with type 2, they can have these symptoms for quite some time because you see, it is a slowly progressing thing, and that's why I said they can have a period of being okay, then after some time they're feeling sick. In type 1, because the production of insulin is such a dramatic loss, or all of a sudden your insulin is like down to zero, your body cannot survive without insulin. So apart from now those signs of passing lots of urine, drinking lots of water, once the body doesn't have insulin, it has to come up with another way of making energy. So you start breaking down fats, you produce acids. The acids now even make you sicker. Now there is abdominal pain, there is a lot of vomiting. In fact, quite a number of them have been admitted in the hospital with ulcers, that's what it's thought, or typhoid because of the vomiting. And they stay in hospital even 2-3 days before somebody even thinks about doing a blood glucose, because this is a young person. They are not suspecting that they could have diabetes. They could have diabetes.
Why is it that right now we're having a huge number of young people that are having diabetes compared to Kitambo? We used to know that it's our grandparents who would have diabetes. And like right now, when you have people in their, say, late 20s, early 30s with diabetes.
So most of them have type 2 diabetes, although there are some who actually have type 1. And the type 2 is mostly driven because of the lifestyle. The lifestyle is a big driver. So the lifestyle takes into account, one, that there is a dramatic increase in weight in majority of our young people. Of course, because of our eating habits. So we are getting quite a number of young people who also are overweight and obese. And then some of them also have a strong family history of type 2 diabetes. And then quite a number of young people also are taking alcohol in huge amounts. So a lot of them are taking the alcohol, and as I said, it causes pancreatitis, so it significantly inflames the pancreas. Then after that, the pancreas is not working, so that is where it houses your cells for producing insulin.
Yeah.
Now you have destroyed that place also. Then they are developing diabetes.
Yeah. Okay. Now, this is just a good place to tell you that if you have any question you'd like to ask about diabetes, please feel free. And because we're just about to get the Vox Pops. After that, we'll also be talking about hypertension. So if you have any question about hypertension or diabetes, type 1, type 2, please feel free to ask. This is the right place to ask all your questions, because we said you'd be having everything else, but once your health is not okay, then that means you're incapacitated in one or another. You'd be having the money, the time to do everything that you need to, but once your health haiko sawa, then that becomes a problem. So our numbers are very open. That is 0721-105-105 on WhatsApp, 23814, or SMS code, which is absolutely free of charge. We're live on Facebook and YouTube on MBCI TV Official on YouTube and MBCI TV on Facebook. For now, I'd love for us to just get some views from the people and hear what you have to say about diabetes.
Yes, kwa majina naitwa Erikana Mwangi na mimi ni mkaaji wa Nakuru East na Menengai Ward, lakini kwa saizi niko hapa free area. Kulingana na ile swali nimeulizwa kuhusu mambo ya diabetes. Diabetes nafikiri ni ugonjwa ambao umesumbua watu sana, na kwa wakati huu sioni kama kuna matibabu ambayo imepatikana ambaye inatibu kwa haraka, unless tuchukue hatua ya haraka kuhusu mambo ya diabetes. Diabetes nafikiri ni ugonjwa ambaye unaletwa na mambo ya vyakula, kitu kama hiyo kulingana na mimi. Na vile mimi najua, na mtu ya diabetes saa zingine huwa anatoa jasho, ana joto mwilini, kitu kama hiyo. Nafikiri hiyo ndio inasababisha diabetes. Mambo na diabetes inasababishwa sana sana na mambo ya kukula vyakula ambaye havifai.
Kwa majina naitwa Joseph Kimani. Mimi ni mfanya biashara ama hoka, nauza matunda. According to me, diabetes, mimi najua diabetes ni mara 3. Kuna ya kuinherit, kuna ya kuzaliwa naye, na kuna ile ya laana ambaye watu hawajaiamini sana. Sometimes Mungu anakupanish. Wewe mzazi yako aligonjeka, mkamuachilia, akawa anasikia uchungu, akakufa na ile uchungu. Itawapata nyinyi kama laana, hata kama ni first ama second generation itawapata. Hii nyingine ni ile ya kuzaliwa naye. Mtoto amezaliwa akiwa naye. Shida kubwa ambaye iko na ugonjwa ya diabetes ni kwamba lazima kunakuwa na combination. According to my experience, unakuta akona diabetes, akona high blood pressure, inazidi sana, inakuwa na hypertension, inazidi tena, unakuta macho imeanza kuwa na shida, akitokwa na kinonda haiponi. Saa tumambo kama hiyo. So I think mimi kwangu ningesema shida hizo ni mgonjwa ambaye inakuja mara 3. Pia tukiangalia kwa sasa nchi hii yetu, the most affected people na diabetes ni wale watu over 50 years, kama inawapata ikiwa combination. I have an experience ya mtoto wa kwanza ambaye nimeona ameshikwa na diabetes. Iliruka kutoka shosho yake alikuwa naye, ikampata akiwa primary school. At the end of the day ikaendelea, akasoma, akaenda university na hata akaandikwa kazi, lakini baada ya hapo ili affect kidney yake, akapoteza kidney. Lazima baba yake angetolewa ndio yeye awekwe.
According to me, venye najua diabetic there are 2 types, the juvenile na ile ya old age. Juvenile ni ile mtoto akiwa amezaliwa, organ zake venye zimeformiwa ndani yake zinakosa kurespond venye zinatakikana, alafu bodies zile zinaitwa antibodies zinaanza kukula zile zenye zilikuwa zinatakikana. Either tuseme sukari huwa inakontroliwa na insulin, badala insulin itengenezwe zinaanza kukula hizo organs zenye zinatengenezaga insulin. Sasa zikianza kuzikula, huyo mtoto anakosa kucontrol sukari yake. Sasa akikosa kucontrol sukari yake, ndio anaafektiagwa na sukari akiwa very young. Lakini hiyo sukari ingine inaafektigi mtu above 40 years. Ukifikisha 40 years, you are prone to diabetic. After kupata diabetic, kuna wale wanapataga blood pressure peke yake ikiwa haitaipata nini kulingana na age ya kuanzia 40, 50 and above. Unaweza kuwa na high blood pressure yenye itakupata peke yake, lakini wengi wenye wanapata diabetic huwa later baada ya sukari. Sukari ni ukishapata diabetic ni sukari inakuaga mingi ndani ya damu. Sasa ikikuwa ndani ya damu kwa sukari mingi, inafanya damu iwe mzito. Sasa damu ikishakuwa mzito, flow in the blood vessels inakuwa ngumu. Sasa ikishakuwa sticky, inakuwa sticky. Unajua sukari hata miwa venye inakuwa sticky, hiyo damu inakosa kuflow. Ikikosa kuflow, ina force the heart ipige more, ndio blood iweze kusacurate kwa mwili. Sasa ndio wanasemaga ukiwa na sukari ujaribu kukunywa maji mingi, ndio dilute ile sukari na iweze kutoa ile sukari, ndio uweze blood damu yako kuflow. Sasa ile pressure ya sticky blood ndio inafanyaga blood pressure igie ukiwa na diabetic. Sasa hiyo ndio inasababisha, ndio wanaambia watu mkunywe maji mingi, ndio dilute nini. Na tena mwili iko na system yake ya kutoa sukari. Ukianza kusikia unataka kwenda kukojoa mara mingi, ujue definitely uko na shida ya sukari. Juu mwili ni automatic, inaambiaga mwili sukari is more, imezidi kwa mwili, eda haja dogo ndio utoe hii sukari. Sasa if you are clever enough, usikie unasikia kwenda haja sana, kunywa maji more, utatoa ile sukari automatically. Lakini ukikosa, ndio inaendaga juu, unakuwa either admitted hospitali ama kitu ingine kama hizo. Hivyo ndivyo najua relationship between high blood pressure na sukari, na hiyo sukari ya watoto wadogo. Mimi najua hivyo.
Diabetics ni ugonjwa ambaye ni ugonjwa ya kisukari, na ni ugonjwa inaletwa na hali ya mtu vile mamkuli anakula, diet yake, na huwa inaletwa na kuziba labda kwa mishipa ama hata kwa ukoo inatoka huko. Na hypertension huwa inaletwa na pia na kuziba kwa mishipa ya damu, na izaletwa na hata diet yake, inaweza letwa na kukimbia kwa damu yake vile inapiga, mambo kama haya.
All right, so that is what we get on the Vox Pops today, and I'm partly impressed. Yeah. What did you say about the level of understanding in terms of diabetes? Say on a scale of 1 to 10.
At least a 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
6 is not bad from a doctor.
Yeah, a 6 because I'm not expecting a lot of medical jargon, but I'm seeing an understanding of, there is a genetic component, there is an issue of lifestyle being mentioned, the signs of high sugar, like you've seen the gentleman saying, if your sugar goes high, the body has to figure out a way of removing, which is by, passing out urine. The other gentleman who was talking about some of the complications that come with having diabetes over a long time, like he mentioned about kidney disease, wounds that don't heal. So I think, there is some information, some relatively good information out there about some of these signs and symptoms.
All right. I think that is good. Now, what we'll do is that we'll just take a very short break and then we'll be coming right back. But this is just to encourage you. If you have any question that you'd like to ask about the same, please feel free to ask. It's very important while you're having these discussions just to clear the air on everything. It's very important that you don't have just a little bit of information or knowledge about these diseases while we are having a whole conversation around it. So today, while you're able to discuss about diabetes and hypertension, please make sure that if there's something that you are partly unsure of, make sure that you ask, because it's very important for you to just have the full information that you need. If you have a patient that you're taking care of, or someone that has diabetes and you'd like for them to hear this conversation, please make sure that you share the link with them. As we said before, is that we're live on Facebook on MBCI TV, we're live on YouTube on MBCI TV official YouTube page. So share the link with them so that they're able to just listen in. If you have yourself, you have diabetes and you've been having questions around the same, also it's okay to ask. It's very good to be very sure about this particular disease. As you've heard, is that this is almost an emergency. Yeah, we'd call it that. We need to know everything about it. I've liked what you've said, that in the West they've been able to curb the issue of type 1 diabetes, and now they're looking at the prevention. For us, we are treating, because we can't look at prevention surely, and we have a whole team that we are still treating. Yeah. So it's very important for us to just look around it. Now, we take a very short break and then we'll be coming right back. This is Afya Clinic, where we talk about your health, because your health truly matters.
MBCI Television, transforming life.
Nataka urudie mara tatu. Chip shop, chip chips. Chip shop, chip chips. Rudia mara tatu mbio mbio.
Chip shop, chip chips. Chip shop, chip chips. Chip shop, chip chips.
Rudia tena.
Chip shop, chip chips. Chip shop, chip chips. Chip shop, chip chips.
Kuku mgeni zawadi za?
Njogo. Njogo.
Kulingana na wewe, Bluetooth inaitwaje kwa Kiswahili?
Bluetooth.
Ama inakaa kuitwaje?
Bluetooth.
Shut up everybody. Listen.
Kiunganishi.
What?
Kiunganishi.
Plague ya 9 ilikuwa gani?
Hey y'all, come look at this.
Hiyo enye nakumbuka ni ile kugawa maji watu wakapita wana Israeli.
Kamokonji Business Community invites you to the annual Thanksgiving Prayer Day. Calling our families back to God. This is a cry, a mandate, a return to divine order. We rise, we take our place, we conquer the mountain of business, declaring that our homes and our work align with God's purpose. On 21st November 2025, from 9 a.m. Kamokonji, Nairobi becomes a gathering ground for prayer, thanksgiving, and restoration. Guest speaker, Apostle John Kemani William, MBCI Director. Guest worship minister, appointed music ministers will lead us in powerful worship. Theme, calling our families back to God. Come, let us raise a prayer and receive divine restoration and alignment in our families. Remember, the dates are 21st November 2025 from 9 a.m. at Kamokonji Business Area near Kamokonji Police Station. See you there.
The Destined for Greatness Camp is here, organized by Kingdom Seekers Fellowship Nakuru for all pupils in grade 4 to grade 8.
Yes, this year's theme is created for a purpose from Psalm 57 verse 2, which says, I cry out to God Most High, to God who fulfills his purpose for me.
That's a powerful theme. So what's waiting for the campus this year?
So much. We'll have Bible teaching sessions, devotions, Bible trivia challenges, music and dance, outdoor games, workshops, and even a talent showcase. It's going to be fun, spiritual, and full of purpose.
That sounds amazing. When and where is it happening?
From Monday 24th to Friday 28th November 2025 at Jomo Kenyatta Girls High School, the perfect place to grow, learn, and enjoy with friends.
Nice. And what should every camper carry?
We'll need decent clothing, personal items, beddings, a blanket and bed sheets, games attire, a Bible, pen, hardcover notebook, crayons, and a plate, spoon, and cup.
Registration is only 1,200 shillings, payable through M-Pesa number 0729 264 709. That is 0729 264 709. And the camp will be hosted by our dad, Apostle John Kimani William, and our mom, Reverend Naomi Kimani, passionate leaders raising children in God's purpose.
I can't wait. A whole week of fun, learning, and discovering why I was created for a purpose.
Don't let your child miss out. The Destined for Greatness Camp 2025, where children discover purpose and rise to greatness.
You are created for a purpose. See you at the camp.
Archbishop Dr. Harrison K. Nganga invites you to the Spiritual Awakening Conference.
For God to protect you, the mind must be stayed in Him.
A divine gathering designed to revive, restore, and awaken the spirit of God's people. Prepare for a life-transforming week in the presence of God. Ministering will be Archbishop Dr. Harrison K. Nganga, Bishop-elect Dr. Edward K. Ndwati, and Reverend James K. Mwaura. Happening from Monday, 1st December to Friday, 5th December, daily from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Christian Foundation Fellowship Central, Nairobi Junction off Uhuru Highway and Bunyala Road. Experience powerful ministrations from guest ministers Evelyn Wanjiru, and worshipper Ali Mukhwana. Healings, breakthroughs, a restoration, and a fresh move of the Holy Spirit await you. Join us live on Faith TV and across all our social media platforms. For inquiries, call 0707 000 333 or 0707 000 111. This is your season. This is your moment. This is your spiritual awakening.
Out of my belly shall flow.
In a world running dry, where hearts thirst for power and nations long for revival, a river is rising again. From the heart of Kajiado, the heavens are opening. The anointing is flowing. Come to the river. This is the River Camp Meeting 2025. From the 16th to the 23rd of November 2025, from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily, inside the mega tent at the KCB grounds, Kajiado, hosted by Bishop Philip and Reverend Helen Topisia.
We have to align every activity on earth with the will of God in heaven.
And featuring great generals, Apostle Julius Subi, Pastor Paul Mwaneki, Apostle David Juma, Reverend Peter Kamau, and Reverend Peter Kiengo. Guest worshippers, Minister Christine Mbogo, Minister Lynn Nasei. Theme: Empowered for Exploits. Get ready to be ignited, refreshed, and transformed. Ezekiel chapter 47 verses 9. And it shall be that every living thing that moves wherever the rivers go will live. Let us gather at the river of life. River Camp Meeting 2025 Redemption Bible Church, Kajiado, empowered for exploits. For more information, call 0707 078577.
Mbci Television, transforming lives.
Thank you so much for staying. This is the right place to be. This is Mbci TV ambapo tunabadilisha maisha by the grace of God. And it's so good to have you here. This is Afya Clinic where we talk about your health. And before we went to that very short break, we talked about, or rather we had views from the people about diabetes. And there's one that really caught my attention. Yeah. And he talked about diabetes being a curse. You know, hey, we'll be talking about the myths and misconceptions that's around that. But we'll need to talk about that. But maybe before you do that, if there's someone who is joining us just now, karibu sana. You've not missed so much. We've been live on Facebook and YouTube. We'd love for you to go back in your free time and just watch from when it started. It's a whole lot of knowledge that you would need right there. But for the people who are just joining us and they're seeing you now, please tell them who is Dr. Omari.
So Dr. Omari is a physician. I'm also a diabetologist. Yeah.
Amazing. Perfect. Now, about the guy who said, you know, diabetes could be a curse. You probably didn't take good care of your parents, and now God is punishing you, probably not you, but even to your second generation. What did you say about that?
I think we have definitely seen a shift in terms of how our population, and especially our elderly population, are being taken care of.
Yeah.
Most of our patients who suffer chronic conditions, whether it is diabetes, blood pressure, arthritis, are generally older.
Yeah.
And the previous, you know, communities before, for example, all this civilization and, you know, modernization came in, people would live, you know, in an extended family setup. So there was always somebody who would cook and take care of the elderly. But now people have moved to towns. There is a lot of urbanization. People are busy at work. People have many other things that they're doing. So yes, there has to be a way of ensuring that, you know, as this generation grows older, how, you know, who takes care of them. Okay. I see a lot of elderly patients as part of my job, because as a diabetologist, most of our patients are elderly. And their concerns are valid. They're valid. They have challenges on simple day-to-day things. And, you know, in our previous society, as I said, their children would take care of them. Now their children are in Nairobi, are in towns, are in America. You know, at most, they just have a caregiver who may not necessarily be family. So they miss out on that family connection. They miss out on that daily interaction with your family, because it's a positive thing that helps them, that supports them emotionally. And some, you know, are basically usually just taken to hospital when a phone call is made that they are sick. In fact, the general trend we see in hospital is January, many elderly people will be in the hospital, because in December, people go home and then they find, oh, my mom is very sick, or my shushu or somebody, then they pick them up and take them to the hospital. But after that, you know, who takes care of them on a daily basis? Because at the end of the day, if you get the privilege of aging, you know, it's not everybody who gets, you know, that privilege to live that long. He would also want at least somebody to help. So it's something to think about and see how best we can integrate them, even as, you know, as we go about our very busy schedules and lifestyle. You cannot be eating well, but you don't know what your parent is eating, or whether they are getting medications, and their care is not just erratic. It needs to be continuous. Some of these conditions are genetic, so you may find your parent or grandparent having it, you know, then the parent, then the child. So maybe he's just trying to, you know, to remind us of our moral obligations, so to speak.
Which is very important. But again, it's good to clear the air on could it be a curse for anyone who has diabetes?
I wouldn't choose the word curse, as I would say there is a possibility of, a genetic inheritance. No, but we do not say that
that it's a curse.
Ulirogwa, then you get diabetes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Perfect. Works well. Now, about hypertension. People call hypertension a slow killer disease. Why is that?
Okay, maybe the word would be silent killer because unlike diabetes where some symptoms, will show up at some point, like as we've said, the symptoms of high sugar, like passing lots of urine, drinking lots of water, weight loss, poor vision, wounds, severe infections, those kinds of things. Most patients who have high blood pressure feel generally normal.
Yeah.
They usually just get surprised when, a blood pressure reading is done and they're told, oh, your blood pressure is high. Okay, it doesn't give them any overt symptoms. Some may complain of headaches, they may complain of, a feeling of their heartbeat is pounding a bit more, or when they try to do some activity, they're getting very easily fatigued. Yeah.
Okay.
But majority, just feel normal. So as we said earlier, the absence of symptoms does not mean that that there's no disease. And this is one of those types of diseases. By the time it's causing symptoms, the symptoms are quite severe. Yeah, the severity can be in the form of stroke, or a heart attack, or, kidney failure. So you see, by the time now you're coming with those symptoms, obviously you're talking about a major organ being damaged. And you can see these are vital organs. We cannot, the heart is as vital as the brain or the kidney. They are not organs that we can survive without. So our hope is that we do more screening, that is going and getting checks before you start feeling symptoms. And if there is an issue, okay, the idea is instead of avoiding it, see how best you can manage it so that we can reduce the risk of the complications. Because those complications are very expensive to treat. And the quality of life of that individual becomes very poor.
Okay. Now, let's talk about the prevention and management for both of them, hypertension and diabetes. You had mentioned earlier that it's intertwined in a way, and you said that some of the patients would come and present both hypertension and diabetes. So is that a way you'd say this is how to prevent both of these two diseases?
So the whole approach has to be very, I'll use the word individualized, because each person has a unique set of factors that gets them to where they are. And also it is important for a person to know where they are on the whole spectrum. Okay? So we can have, for example, this group who are have not yet developed diabetes but are at risk. Okay? Then we also have a group that have not developed hypertension but are at risk. Then we have the group that have developed the condition. They already have diabetes, they already have hypertension. Then we have another group that already has complications that are related to both diabetes and hypertension. So now it is very important to know where this individual is. So who is at risk of developing? So one of the risk factors here is an age issue. Okay? Yes. And a lot of times we are screening patients from the age of 35. Okay? And people will say, yes, 35 is pretty young. True. But the life expectancy here in Kenya is like 60 something. So if you have reached 35, you've probably done like half of your existence. So let's start there. So there is an aging process now that's checking in. Okay? Because now I get us, where did that come from? Your aging part, so part of the changes that are going to happen in your vessels and your organs will also depend on also how well you take care of it. So age. Okay, so any person who's going to be, middle-aged, from 35, you're at risk. So, you want to go and check. Then we do find patients, for example, whose blood sugar is rising, but it has not yet reached the level of diabetes. Then we tell you, okay, this is where your blood sugar is, okay? Please, it is important you put in lifestyle measures, because people who are at pre-diabetes are not most of the time put on medication, most of the time. So the lifestyle measures that involve meal planning and exercise will help your condition not progress into diabetes. And the same actually is also what can help even in people whose blood pressure levels are beginning to become elevated, but not the level that we say now this person is hypertensive. Okay? So now that person, prevention alone in terms of lifestyle management can actually help them to remain there or get back to normal. Now there is the person who has the condition. So a lot of times when the person has already a persistently elevated blood pressure and a persistently elevated blood sugar, most of the time they're going to be on medication plus the lifestyle interventions, okay? And then as they're being monitored, sometimes with diabetes, you can have very good control, even with the lifestyle measures, And the discussion can be, do we need this much medicine? Do we need less? Can we be off medicine? Can you sustain? Because a lot of patients, as I said, when those lifestyle changes are done over time, the momentum and the motivation goes down. Then you find, again over time, the numbers, the things that they were controlling are again back up. And then this group and the prevention group, are they on good follow-up? Because somebody needs to be checking up on them. Our patients are not very good at follow-up. When they feel better, they are getting medications from the pharmacy, you will never see them, even for 5 years. Which is very unfortunate, because most of the time when they are coming back to the hospital setup, something has happened. And most of the time it's not good. So we are saying, please maintain the follow-up. Maintain the follow-up. It tends to be part of the prevention. It's a prevention behavior. Okay? Now comes this other person on this other side who is already having complications. Okay? Now, I want to say this very clearly, because I don't know whether it is a myth or it is just a misunderstanding or it is just because there's a lot of misinformation out there. Once there is organ complication, majority of the times those are not reversible. Okay? They're not reversible. So a patient who has gotten kidney damage as a result of uncontrolled blood sugar or blood pressure over time, there is no medicines that are able to cure the kidneys or to restore the sight or to repair the heart or to fix the stroke, because you can put them on medicine and they're like, now does that mean the patient will start walking? A stroke literally means, that part of the brain, either blood didn't get there or a blood vessel, ruptured, and that part of the brain died. So you can see those are more permanent. They're not reversible. So when you're there, what we're trying to do is prevent further damage, okay, but not to reverse what has already happened. So when this person has diabetes and hypertension and doesn't have complications, we don't want them to get to complications. Okay? And this other person who is not yet developed the condition, we're trying to prevent them from getting to established disease. Okay? So you can see it's not. So I get patients who are at complication stage, but now they want to approach the problem like they don't have the disease stage. Okay? So you can see there is a lot of disconnect where you are and your expectation. You can see it's like here and here. So first it's being brought to speed to this is where you are. Okay?
So what do we do about
now? What do we do about where you are in this whole journey? Yeah.
Okay. And maybe that's just an encouragement to everyone. And it's good that we've talked about the risk factors. So if you know you are in any part of the risk factors, ujua hapo sasa ndio uko, and that is what you've talked about. That is what you do to make sure that you don't get the disease. Because I feel like sometimes you're too comfortable with the fact that bora mimi si mgonjwa niko tu sawa. Yeah. And while we were on the break, we were talking about diet. That's something that we'll talk about. But for now, you've mentioned about a myth. We have some of the mythbusters that we'd like to demystify and just know is this a myth or it's actually true. So let's get the mythbusters as we just get to know what is a myth and what is not. All right. So we have the mythbusters here. If you have any other thing that you've had and you'd like to send and tell us is this a myth or not, also feel free to add, okay? And the first one is that only overweight people get diabetes.
So it's not only overweight people. Even people whose weight is not considered overweight can get diabetes. Quite a number of our patients who have type 1 diabetes are not overweight. They are quite normal weight. Yeah, so it's not only overweight people who can get diabetes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second one is that people with diabetes can't eat carbohydrates or sweets.
So the carbohydrates are an important part of our, for energy purposes, and as I said, for, what your brain uses, what you need for breathing, and all that, all the things that we do on a day-to-day basis is energy that is processed from carbohydrates. So the only thing that tends to happen is, we reduce and we are just limiting the carbohydrates to what you essentially need. You don't need more, But again, a lot of people are not clear on what are carbohydrates. So carbohydrates is not just ugali, okay? Yes, whether it is ugali number 1 or ugali number 2, those are still carbohydrates, or brown ugali, or porridge, or bananas, whether they're matoke, potatoes, what else? Ndoma, githeri, all the cereals that we eat, okay, have carbohydrates. Okay, so cereals are dengus, njahes, beans, okay, because I find people classifying them as protein. So they're dried plants, dried cereals are 80% carbohydrate. Okay, they're 80% carbohydrate. So if your meal is like brown rice and beans, so you can see there the constitution of carbohydrate is quite high. So those are carbohydrates. Fruits have sucrose, which if it's going to be digested, it's going to be carbohydrate. Okay? So avoiding eating rice, and then you're eating lots of bananas and oranges and watermelons and pineapples and big brown ugali and lots of porridge. There's a patient last week who was saying they're getting uji power for diabetes. That we get a mixture from Nairobi. They call it uji power for diabetes. So they're making for sure a whole thermos to drink the whole day. Okay, that uji, whatever they're putting inside there, most likely has carbohydrates. So she cannot drink a whole thermos the whole day. You're not supposed to just take a cup or two, and that's it. So the important thing is carbohydrates are necessary for our energy, and it's just the quantities is what usually matter. So we cannot say they cannot eat then. So sweets, will I say they are necessary? Not really, but when sugar goes low, they need something that can elevate blood sugar. A lot of them I know carry sweets. We also encourage them to carry like the small 15-gram sachet of glucose. It can be quite handy during an emergency, like when blood sugar goes low, before they go looking for something to eat.
And the other mythbuster is that insulin cures diabetes.
So here, cure would be referring to the disease is no longer there.
Never good to go.
So insulin, you know, is a protein, as we said, and it is required on a daily basis. So, you know, it's not like you're going to get one shot and that's it. Then now the disease is finished because you're eating on a daily basis. So insulin will help you to manage your diabetes. It will not, I will not use the word to cure it. Maybe the correct word there is it will help you to manage. And it can manage both type 1 and type 2 diabetes.
Okay, but that's just management.
Yeah, it's managing the condition.
Okay. People with diabetes always feel symptoms.
So I think this one we have discussed, but people with diabetes don't always feel symptoms. And that's important to be aware so that, you know, the screening is done. So screening is, as we said, you go for a test before you can feel it, but in the lab we're able to see it. Okay? Because if you wait to feel it, sometimes, you know, the condition it has advanced.
Okay. And the last one, now here, I've had quite a lot of people talking about it, and they call them herbs. But natural remedies can actually cure diabetes.
So it's unfortunate because I've interacted with patients who have used all manner of things, and you know, any condition that is considered chronic and you know, it makes people feel uncertain about their future, you know, give them a negative impression, definitely causes a lot of worry and concern, and causes, in fact, sometimes we call it diabetes stress, because they've been told now you have you know, this is there. And you know, on the medical aspect, somebody is saying you can manage this thing, you can make this thing get into remission, but you know, it's never fully cured. Then there is a person on this side who is telling you, we can cure your disease, just take this mixture. You can see how appealing that is to the psychology of individuals. Unfortunately, majority of them get disappointed. Whatever it is they're hoping, you know, the expectation they have is not met. Is not met. And sometimes, you know, they spend a lot of money. People think those natural remedies are affordable. You know, the selling point is, oh, it's natural. It's not going to affect your kidneys. It's not going to, doesn't have side effects. So, you know, they go for them and they pay a lot of money. So when they realize that this thing is not working, most of them don't even have the courage to go back there and say, you know what, whatever you were offering me was not really a solution. They just, you know, recoil, you know, gather themselves and, you know, go back to the hospital. And we say, okay, so this is where we are. Let's pick up. Because I'll not blame them. I can understand where the thought process is coming from.
Okay. Now we mentioned about the complications, and you know, we are now winding up. But this is something that we also need to again talk about. So we'll talk about complications in relation to diet. On the complication side, it's just to make sure that people know that, hey, if you don't take care of these, it can actually be bad. Because as you know, human beings, and especially Kenyans, we're so used to Dr. Google. Mpaka ile time yenye your body is now literally not functioning, and that is when you go to hospital. Now, what are some of the lifestyle behaviors that you'd embrace and diet that you should be eating that will just make sure you are at a good place, whether you are at risk or you actually have the disease, or in general, just to make sure that, you know, your health is at a good place?
So the diet that, you know, typically is recommended for patients, you know, who are at risk versus the ones who are already having the disease without a lot of complications, generally is, you know, carbohydrates are not very high. They can have protein. Generally, we encourage lots of vegetables. The fiber is good, helps with slowing down how fast sugar gets into the body. The fat should be kept on the lower side because of the risks, you know, that come, especially with diabetes. Quite a number of those patients also tend to have high cholesterol. And we encourage physical activity. And we also encourage, smoking cessation. We talk about don't smoke. Every time you visit the facility, a medical facility, there's emphasis, don't smoke. And it has been shown in research that it actually helps to reduce the rate of smoking.
Yeah.
And let's not take alcohol because you can see in the whole spectrum, it doesn't somehow, help things. Let's maintain our contact with the hospital as much as possible. Let's keep our follow-ups. And remember, during the follow-up visits, even if you're feeling well, there'll be some yearly checks. There'll be some checks to check your cholesterol, to check your kidneys, to check your liver, to check. Yeah, so that if there is any early signs of damage, we prevent further progression.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are generally. But for patients who already have complications, the diet sometimes changes. Even for patients, for example, who have kidney disease, you'll find in the diet that they were taking before, some things are now being adjusted because now they have to, their body is compromised in terms of function. So that again has to be individualized. And then again, we have patients, for example, who are overweight. So part of the dietary plan is to help them to lose weight. So their carbohydrate amounts might be even less as compared to somebody who probably has diabetes and has normal weight.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. Now, some of the complications you've mentioned about the kidney failure. We have what are other complications that one would get from, high sugar or high blood pressure?
If I start with elevated blood sugar, most of these complications, we see them because of uncontrolled diabetes over time.
Yeah.
And so we've mentioned kidney disease is quite common. And by the time we are seeing kidney disease, we are also seeing nerve problems. So quite a number of them are coming with abnormal sensations. So they have numbness, tingling, pain, pain even on touch. Somebody mentions that, the cloth is touching my back and I feel like I don't even want to work. I can't sleep at night because I have a lot of pain. So when there is a lot of pain, one of the things we're thinking about here is most likely this sugar is not going very well.
Okay.
And then the visual aspect, there is just, a reduction in the vision. And then now the ones that are also associated with the bigger vessels, these ones are associated with the smaller vessels. The ones that are associated with the bigger vessels are like stroke or a heart attack or a weak heart, which we call heart failure, and even, lack of blood supply into the legs and causing people to get amputated. So the ones for the large vessels are also quite common with patients with elevated blood pressure. And that's why the cholesterol aspects or the lipids become important. Because these blood vessels, even as they get affected by diabetes, they're also getting affected by blood pressure. And cholesterol accumulates inside there quite rapidly if they have these two conditions. So the risk for stroke or for heart disease becomes very high. So part of the prevention record for those complications is addition of medication to reduce the cholesterol levels, and sometimes even medications that we call them maybe in the layman terms blood thinners.
Okay, I hear you. Now we have a question here, and Annalisa, how is high blood pressure related to eyesight?
So high blood pressure can cause changes in the eye, changes in the blood vessels in the eye, can cause swelling of certain areas in the eye that are involved with vision, and they can even cause vision loss. So it is very important that we control the blood pressure because it is also going to cause permanent eye changes inside there.
Okay.
Yeah.
We talked about this, but Annalisa, is frequent urination a sign of diabetes?
It can be a sign of diabetes. It can also be a sign of urine infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it is not only for diabetes, it is not only frequent, but even the amount. You're passing lots of urine because, as we said, as glucose is coming out in the urine, glucose pulls water.
Yeah.
So your volume, you're going many times, you're passing lots of urine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. The question about wounds as well, the wounds that don't heal for people who have diabetes. Why is that?
So there are many things that contribute. Part of the main problems that we see that causes development of wounds is the nerves in the feet. Have been affected. So the protective sensation, remember, pain is a protective sensation.
Yeah.
When you feel pain, nimeumia. So there is loss of that pain. So somebody can be pricked and they will not feel it. Somebody can wear a shoe with a stone and they will not feel it. Yes, so part of the self-care is you need to inspect your feet every day. Inspect your foot, look in between your toes. When you wash them, dry them well. Look at the back, look at the palm, the foot, the sole of your foot. If there are any wounds, blisters, anything you see, make sure you come into the hospital. So when you lose that protective sensation, you get an injury, then now, again, we've mentioned blood vessels sometimes are not very good in terms of bringing in blood, oxygen, nutrients. And then now there's the issue of the high sugar. So the high blood glucose also makes the immune response poor.
Yeah.
So sometimes some of these patients can have a wound on the foot for a very long time. Yeah.
Okay. Now, we see we have other questions coming in, but what is important for all of us to say is that, just take care of your body and be very intentional with it.
Yes.
Your health is very important, because most of the questions that I see here are questions that we've answered during the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah. But if you have more questions, we'll be giving away that you'd reach Doc if you would like to get checked, if you have diabetes or you know someone who has diabetes and you'd like for them to go get checked, we'll be giving away that you'd be able to get that help, because that is very important. But I see Joshua Mwema, we've answered this as well, and Oliza, what causes a burning sensation under the feet?
So a lot of times that's because the nerves have been affected by high blood glucose.
Yeah.
And it's quite common. Most of the time, especially if it has been there for long, we find it improving, but sometimes it never fully goes away.
Yeah.
So as we've said, we want to avoid these complications that, that are not reversible. We want to avoid them.
Yeah.
So by taking good care of this diabetes so that the blood sugar is not persistently elevated, then we get there. Because now most patients are waiting until now the burning has come.
Yep.
Now they're coming to the hospital. The burning has been there for 3 months. Yeah, so you were hoping that by doing things in the same way, you were going to get a different result. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So when you see whatever you're doing is not working, it's important to change. I think it's the issue of, who moved my cheese. If you were used to it here, now it is not there.
Yeah.
You can't go back there expecting that it's going to be there. It won't be there.
Yeah.
Now you change direction and look for a different solution.
Yeah. Okay. For the whole of discussion that we've had today, what would be your parting shot?
Wow.
Please tell me to take water.
So she's whispering, I need to tell you to take water.
Yeah.
No, water is important. We need to hydrate.
Yeah.
It's getting warmer.
Yeah.
It will help with a lot of things. But as I started off by saying, self-care is important. Self-care is not for only people with diabetes.
Yeah.
Self-care is for all of us. We need to take care of ourselves better. And that involves eating things that are going to help us. It involves, getting good sleep. It involves trying to increase a bit of physical activity. It involves our mental health. Yeah. So that's what's going to make the quality of our lives better.
Yeah.
Okay. So that we appreciate that we have a role in terms of how our health outcomes will be. And let's take up that role, because I see patients and the disease is the doctors.
And that's really sad. I say on this show every time I have a discussion with a doctor about something, I realize that I also need to do better in the capacity. And this is just for everyone. Sometimes we keep saying that, to go to sour, but you realize that this is an everyday thing. You have to be very intentional with your health. And it's important that we have these discussions. Maybe we'll take it a notch higher and tell you about health like twice or thrice a week or every day.
No problem.
I wanted to ask, this is off diabetes. Do we have a day specifically to talk about nutrition and diet?
I think it will be very important. Although I wouldn't say that I'm the best person. Unfortunately, even in our training, you don't focus that much, and I really wish that was there. So it's because of my diabetes training that I had to get now much more detail in terms of nutrition. But I think it's important so that our daily eating habits sometimes just show that probably we're not aware. At least be aware. Then maybe you can make better choices on simple things like, let's try to ensure that every meal that we plan in our house has some vegetables. Let's encourage our children to eat vegetables, and they learn via action. So if you don't eat them, they also will not eat them. Yes, so simple things. Let's minimize how much juice and biscuits and soda we bring, especially over this long holiday. Yes, then if we must look for other sources of carbohydrate, maybe let's bring fruit. As they run around, they finish, they come back, have a fruit. That's what's there, not soda and biscuits and crisps and yogurts, and that's what they're eating from morning till evening.
I'm sure very many parents are guilty of that. There's one parent who spoke about the, what did they call it? Appreciation process. That should be the term. In terms of when a child does well in something and you want to appreciate them, you give them a sweet or like a crisp or anything, And he said for him, what he's decided is mtoto wake akifanya poa, what he buys is something that will enable them to exercise more. Probably by a bicycle or a ball, something that would help them, so that they know a sweet isn't something you get when you've done well. That's not the appreciation process for everything. So I think how you said
make it diverse.
Make it diverse. That would be really good. We've had such a good session today, Dr. Omari. Thank you so much for that. For the people who would like, to get more knowledge about the same or to get help, whether they have diabetes or they're taking care of someone who has diabetes, are they able to find you? Do you have a contact, and where is your location?
Okay, so we have a clinic at DND. DND building is off West Road, on first floor. So our clinic number is 0758 773 952.
Take it again.
0758 773 952.
Perfect. The clinic, the name of the clinic is?
It's ScanLab Diabetes Clinic.
ScanLab Diabetes Clinic. Okay, perfect. Now, this is always a very good parting shot for us. If there's one thing that you'd encourage each and everyone to do, not only for their health in general, or rather their mental health, their mental well-being, I think that's the word. What would that be from a doctor's perspective?
Maybe just two things. I wish we would eat more vegetables and exercise more.
Okay, vegetables and exercise more. Okay, perfect. That is good. Thank you so much for being with us today. That has been super, super amazing. What we'd love to encourage you is everything that you've heard today, don't take it as a suggestion. make sure that you follow it to the latter, because your health is very important. If you're just joining us now, or you've not been able to get the whole discussion that we've had today, we'll be having Mombi, who'll be taking us through the pointers. She's followed through since we started, and she'll just take you through just to make sure that you've not missed any of that. But just to remind you is that we've been live on Facebook and YouTube, on MBCI TV, and on all those two social media pages. You go back and follow from when we started, because we have a whole lot of knowledge there. Okay, and that will be so helpful to you. Once again, Dr. Mari, thank you so much for being with us for this session.
You're welcome.
And looking forward to have more discussions.
No problem.
Just to make sure that we are at a good page or at a good place with our health.
Okay.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
Asante sana. Say hi to everyone at Scan Lab.
Yeah, I will.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect. So that has been it for now. I'd love for us to get the Did You Know segment. And this is just to jog our minds a little bit, even as we prepare to have Mombi on set. We've had such an amazing and a wholesome conversation. Now it's time for us to get like 2-3 minutes to just cool down a little bit and then get into the conversation. Did you know? All right. Now, did you know that shark's liver is so large that it can make up to 25% of its weight? Oh wow, interesting. Did you know that a shark's liver is so large that it can make up to 25% of its body weight? Maybe just because we have Doc here with us, she will just, Doc, did you know, or is it true, that a shark's liver is so large that it can make up to 25% of its body weight in general?
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's an interesting.
That makes sense, because so the shark is it's a big,
yeah,
it's a big fish.
Yeah.
And they tend to store a lot of their energy as fat. Liver also helps with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So it makes sense. I don't think, as humans, we need that much liver.
Yeah.
No, we don't.
Okay. That's a very interesting fact. And I love how Doc has explained it, that it has a lot of fat. So with a lot of fat, of course, you'll need that much liver, that much size of a liver. So it's for you to just, go and research more just to know if it's true or not. Okay? That has been amazing. How are you?
I am fine. How are you? Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I'm good.
I'm also good.
Yes. I've learned so much today. Yes.
What stood out for you?
Eating vegetables. Yeah. Lately I'm trying to be very, very intentional with what I eat.
Health, yeah.
I'm not sure I'm doing very well.
But you're trying.
But I'm trying, and that is what is important. So I'm trying to be very intentional with what I eat.
One step at a time.
Yes. So when she's mentioned about vegetables, I remembered not so long ago, I was just thinking, should I get vegetables? Should I not? And we probably all know what I decided. I said, fine, you must.
Wow.
But she's really insisted on vegetables. So
yes.
That's for us to be very intentional. She's mentioned about fruits, and sometimes we say fruits are healthy, let's take a lot of fruit. But she's said that fruits also have a level of sugar.
Yeah.
So if you overdo fruit, it means that you're getting a lot of sugar in your body, which is also not good for you.
Yes, and I love that every time we learn something new, because people assume because fruits are good for your health, then you take a lot of it, and now it's not good anymore.
Yeah. So balance is very important.
Yes.
Perfect. So please say hi to the people and then you can get started.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mombi Karaoke, and welcome to this part of the show where we do a bit of recap on what we talked about. And today we talked about diabetes and hypertension. Yeah.
Perfect. Now take us through what you've talked about right from when you started.
Right from the beginning.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and also there's an example that she's used, Amisama, that we should not use like the rewarding culture to give our children snacks, and even for ourselves.
Yes.
Because you say, I'm proud of myself, so you buy yourself a whole cake.
Yes.
And then you eat it pole alone.
Yes.
Yes. So
it's funny how I was thinking about kids and I never thought about ourselves.
About grown-ups, yes. Because
we do that most of the times.
And when you hear someone say, I'm going on a solo date to reward myself, 9 out of 10 times they're going to buy something that's not healthy.
It's pizza.
Yes.
It's milkshake.
You eat a whole pizza alone.
Yeah.
One person.
Yeah. You did help.
Exactly. So.
You did help. Okay.
Yeah, so today we talked about diabetes and hypertension.
Yeah.
And the first thing we talked about is the definition of diabetes. So diabetes is a chronic condition where the body either doesn't make enough insulin or cannot use insulin effectively, causing high blood pressure. High blood sugar.
Yeah.
So it is when your body does not make enough or does not use the insulin that has been made properly, hence causing high blood sugar. The symptoms are excessive thirst, frequent urination, fatigue, blood vision, slow healing wounds. And we talk about knowing you're normal all the time, so that when something is abnormal, you know and you take action immediately. Yes. So another important thing that we learned is that it can be managed through healthy diet, physical activity, and medication, that is insulin, and regular monitoring.
Yeah.
So again, back to the healthy diet. A lot of diseases are caused by unhealthy diets, and a lot of diseases are maintained by healthy diets. And prevention is better than cure.
It is.
Yeah, so don't wait to be sick and forced to have a healthy diet. Make the choice. And sometimes, you know, when you decide to do something and you do it habitually, it becomes part of your life. So it's no longer a burden or a chore. So when you decide to eat vegetables, you know, maybe the first time it might be a bit tasking, you don't want to do it. But when you do it, they say when you do something consistently for 90 days, it becomes a habit. So if you train yourself to eat healthy for at least 3 months, after that, it will actually be the only thing you're craving. You know, you find yourself craving healthy things.
And how beautiful is that? And it's good and really important that Doc has mentioned that habits are not very easy to create. And you know, if a doctor, from a medical perspective, would actually acknowledge that, it means that it's normal for you to struggle to eat well. It's normal for you to struggle to stop taking alcohol. And she's given a very good example where you go to hospital, you're admitted because of smoking, and then go out of hospital and smoke
again.
You know, and you'd ask, Kwani, what's wrong with you? Kwani, you don't know you were admitted because
you know you should stop.
You should stop. But it's a habit, and it's very hard to, you know, stop a habit. But once you make a decision,
and you decide, and you stick to it,
and go with it,
you be
then that's really beautiful. Just to throw it in there, unashamedly, I was listening to a certain someone called The Power of Decisions. Yes. Should be that the title is going to ambia pa vitu haziko. Is The Power of Decisions yesterday by Apostle Joshua Selman. So when she said that, I thought, my goodness, this is it. It's on everything, literally. Your health, your spiritual life, what you get,
even your career.
Yes. Because he said, whatever it is that you get in this life, it's the grace of God, but also it's fully your decision.
You have to decide.
You have to decide. He gave an example of when God says that I put before you life and death. He doesn't say that I will give you life. He says that choose. The power of decisions. So decide that you want to live a healthy life.
Yeah, and also the Bible says that He gives us the power to will and to do. You can, you can decide, but if you don't do, you know,
it's up to you.
Yes. So like the grace only functions when you decide.
Yes.
You have decided that this is a path that we'll take, and then now the grace is sufficient.
Yeah, for you to actually do it.
For you to actually do it.
It's your decision to make. Also
to decide.
Also, now there's something that I learned the other day on the same. And he said, you see the very serious diseases that people get in their late 30s or early 40s, they start while you're at your 20s. Yes. So like a little headache that you say, it's just
and then you self-medicate.
And then you self-medicate. The little things, it's usually your body telling you that there could be a problem here, do something about it. Take more water. So that at your 40s and 50s, you wouldn't have a problem. Literally every issue, the issue of hypertension, the issue of every disease, unazanga kupata signs at your early age.
At
like in your 20s.
Back pain, for example.
Like a little back pain. That you say, hey, by the way, nikikanga even a feeling some type of way.
When I wake up, I know I feel like I'm so tired, my shoulders ache, and then just assume.
If you don't make a decision that you'll take care of your health now. ufeel kwa ka issue kadogo and you go get checked just to make sure that you're okay. When you're at your 30s and early 40s, utakuwa unasema I need help, magoti, mgongo, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point, because the way to take care of your body at that age has completely changed.
Yes.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, and today's decision form tomorrow's reality. So if today you decide, so if today you decide to live a certain type of way, just know that it is affecting your tomorrow. You're literally standing on the foundation of tomorrow. So, you know, today's decision will influence whether what you're building will stand or it will fall.
That's so beautiful. Yeah, you're standing on the foundations of tomorrow. Later t-shirt to print. No, not points. Yeah,
we should
That's really
put that
beautiful.
on a billboard.
Yes, that you're standing at the foundations of your tomorrow.
Exactly.
So, you have to make decisions
what you
now.
put in your foundation now is what you will build on tomorrow.
That's really beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, you're making me feel smart.
You know,
like a professor.
Yeah.
Okay. So another important thing that we learned today is that hypertension is persistent high blood pressure. So it's not just high blood pressure, it is when it's persistent. Over and over again, your blood pressure is high. So that is hypertension. Some of the risk factors are obesity, high salt intake, lack of exercise, stress, genetics, smoking, and alcohol use. Back to taking care of your health. For example, obesity. So when you take care of your health, you know, you will avoid things like being obese. You will be conscious of your salt intake. You know, you will exercise. You will know you're normal. So when you know you're normal, you have the ability to avoid stressful situations or to handle stress better.
Yeah.
It can also be genetically transmitted. So if someone in your lineage or in your generation had it, it could be passed down.
Yeah.
But again, we've been told that when you live a healthy lifestyle, some of these things they can skip, you know? Yeah, and also smoking and alcohol use. So take care of your health and avoid anything that might cause you to be sick that is a risk factor. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And also take care of your health.
Take care of your health.
Afya yako ni your responsibility.
Yeah. There's something that Doc said last week and you kept reminding me. What was that?
Your health is your wealth.
Your health is your wealth.
Yeah.
Your health is your wealth.
Yes.
All right. I think that is very important for us to know, especially now that I'm so happy that I'm now able to say we're going into the festive season. Yeah? We're not going into the festive season. And what that means is that we're just about to start getting a lot of, sugars, carbs, and now people are not very careful with what they eat. People are not very careful with what they drink, because now you're getting a lot of, it's the fun time. It's that time of the year, yeah? When you're very comfortable with taking nyama choma. After nyama choma, you take those drinks, sodas.
And people say, you know, it's the festive season. And we only do this once a year. But you're doing it once a year, every day for 30 days. I mean, too much of anything, it's poisonous.
It's poisonous.
Yeah.
It's poisonous. And then you see, like, our director, what he's saying is that ikifika January, we're not taking mafuta anymore. But really,
you know, by the time January inafika, the damage has already been done.
It has.
Yes.
And sometimes it's a damage that you cannot reverse. Also, we're not very honest with ourselves, because by the time inafika January, we go back to our normal eating habits, which are also not very good.
Which are not very good at all.
They're not good at all. So if we are very strict with then January tutakula tu veggies peke yake, then that's fine. But in January, we're still taking a lot of carbs. We're still taking a lot of fats.
Not exercising.
We're not exercising.
The occasional self-cheat here and there. So
it's still not working for us. What I'd encourage all of us is that at a time, let's be very sensitive and responsible with our health, what we eat.
Yeah.
That's very, very important. I've seen people in their 50s and they look really amazing. Yeah, and we'd want for all of us to be like that in our 50s and 60s. And it's not only looking nice, but also
feeling.
They're very fit, they feel very well. And you very well know, hawa ni watu wenye they had the advantage of kuzaliwa kitambo. Well, they were eating ndoma and bashe, and their foods were very organic. So you can very well tell that they're healthy right now because their eating habits were really good then. And those people are very intentional with what they eat now. So that just tells you that what you eat really makes who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Najiambia hapo pia mimi because I'm thinking, hey, unasema na vile.
Yeah, but you have decided and you know you're proactive about it and you intentionally do it. I mean, yeah, the future is looking bright.
It is. It is. I'm really looking forward to our festive Afya Clinic episode because it's going to have a lot of us sitting down and
talking about health and nutrition.
Yes, health and nutrition,
especially now.
Ourselves.
Yeah,
itakuwa a time of more of a retreat where you sit down with yourself and think.
And you reflect. Yeah.
Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And you will be looking at some of the healthy ways to enjoy because you can have fun but still enjoy. Okay, have fun but still eat well.
Yes.
Because that is what you're looking at. But until then, we'll still be having really amazing episodes. And thank you so much for staying with us today. Today we've been talking about diabetes and hypertension. This is the high levels of sugar and high levels of pressure.
Yes.
Blood pressure. Yes. So blood pressure, hypertension, blood sugar, diabetes. Yes. So that is what we've been looking at today. If you feel you have any of the symptoms that we've talked about, as Mombi always says, is that the symptoms are not a checklist.
Yes.
So if you have even one, please make sure you go get checked. If you feel the random headaches, if you have palpitations, any of that, please just go get checked. It's very important for you to know that your health is your wealth. Sometimes, especially for hypertension, as Doc said, is that haujuangi mpaka ile time utenda hospitali and you're told you have high blood pressure, or they take your readings and they realize your blood pressure is not at the right place. So just do the random check-ins at hospital and that would be good. So thank you so much for being here today. It has been amazing.
Yes, it has been lovely. Nice to have you guys. I have been your co-host, Mombi Karaoke.
Yeah. Perfect. And my name is Rachel Kahugo. We'll see you next week, same place, same time, as we talk about health. Until then, God bless you. God be with you. To have an amazing rest of the week. Bye-bye.